What's up, everyone? It's the Emerald Enthusiast, back with another Green Lantern collectible review. This time, I'll be looking at the Mego 8-inch action figure of Green Lantern John Stewart. The figure comes in card and bubble packaging. On the card, we get the Green Lantern Corps symbol, and the personal power battery is in the bubble. And on the back, we get a brief write-up on Mego. The figure comes with this personal power battery. It's very simple in its design. The handle does move, but there are no joints here, just very flexible material. One major disappointment that I have with this figure is that it's not possible to get the gripping hand to open. The pointer finger and the thumb are fused, so it's not possible to actually get the handle into the hand. I suppose if you had a very sharp cutting instrument and a steady hand, it wouldn't be that difficult to separate the fingers to actually get the battery into the hand, but that's not something that I'm going to do with this figure. However, it is possible to get the battery around the wrist. So it is possible to get the figure to hold the battery, but it certainly does not look perfect. John Stewart is clad in green boots and a green and black soft goods uniform that represents the legendary Green Lantern Corps from DC Comics. The boots are separate pieces, and the musculature is that of the basic 8-inch action figure for which Mego is renowned. The figure features closely cropped hair and an intense gaze. The back of the uniform features a Velcro flap, and it is possible to undo the flap and remove the uniform from the figure. If you're wondering if the boots are easy to remove, the answer is yes. And here's a look at one of the figure's feet. Here's a look at the ring on the figure, and although I appreciate the fact that it does look like a Green Lantern Corps symbol, I still wish that there would have been some sculpting here to make this look like an actual ring instead of just being paint. Here's a look at the Green Lantern Corps symbol on the chest, and this is not a separate piece, this is part of the soft goods uniform. I don't mind this style, it is different than that of other action figures, however I wish that the circle would have been trimmed in green or black. Here's a look at the head sculpt, and there are things to appreciate about this. I like the green eyes and the sculpting of the cheekbones and the mouth. Mego figures have retro doll designs, and so the head sculpts are usually very basic. However, this one has more detail than many that I have seen. The figure comes with 14 points of articulation. The ankles are limited somewhat by the boots. However, we get these single-jointed knees, and it's possible to get the figure into a deep running pose. The figure kicks this far forward, and that is quite impressive, and the figure steps back, and it's possible to get the figure into this much of a split. So it is possible to get these figures into some very dynamic poses. Here's a look at the articulation of the torso. There's very ample swiveling. There's rotation at the wrists, single pin elbows. The wrists also move backward and forward. In terms of the shoulder joints, it's possible to lift the arms out from the torso this much. As you would expect, there are rubber bands inside the figure, so sometimes the joints need to be repositioned. It is possible to move the arm over the figure's head, however, I would not try to do a 360. As you can see, it puts a great deal of stress on the figure's uniform. However, it is possible to move the arm backward and forward. The head moves side to side, but it does not move up and down, and there is no head tilting. Here's a look at the figure with the uniform down, and as you can see, sometimes it's necessary to reposition the joints so that the figure's articulation works properly. I actually have more than one of these figures. This figure has been signed by Philip Kennedy Johnson, the writer of Green Lantern War Journal, which of course starred John Stewart. Here's a look at the figure next to the Mattel Retro Action John Stewart. So if you would like to own a John Stewart figure in the more classic singlet style retro uniform, that is available to you. And it's possible to own a Mego figure of John Stewart in his more modern Green Lantern uniform. Please like, subscribe, and check out my many other action figure reviews. I would certainly appreciate it. And I'll be back with more Green Lantern content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching!